Hello and welcome to EFAP Mini Super Chat Catch-Up for the episode of 323 with Movie Bob. Everyone remembers that one. We had a little
That's right.
excursion into the history of the Bobinator, Diabeto himself,
The
which
Bobster.
that character would never be forgotten in the sense of if we had a trading card game for EFAP or a video game, he would definitely be in it, Diabeto. I still think you could make an interpretation of that could be like effective dramatically to control sugar as opposed to metal. There's something there, you know. It could be good, it could be scary, but also funny at the same time. So don't rule it out. Don't think of it as just a joke, okay? It could be pretty scary. You could have an epic action scene with a man who controls sugar. Think of what he would do to donuts.
The United States economy? Yeah, I mean...
I like the two answers there. You're like this global effect that could destroy everything. I'm like, donuts, man.
No, he would be... He's a crazy villain. He's not going to stop at donuts.
He probably won't, you're right. Anyway, you guys sent us some messages during the stream. We're going to check them out, so...
Hell yeah.
The first is Return of the King, which... You know what? Fair, yeah. I think people are so used to Boogie, or Tipples, I guess, taking the crown that it was time for Bob to at least make another appearance. I understand. Who's hotter, Movie Bob or Mr. Miss Manshi?
Mr. Miss Manshi.
I think that's it. That's Bo Black's, right?
That's Bo Black's weird sex alter ego.
I mean, Movie Bob.
I mean, it's unfortunate, but the answer is definitely Mr. Miss Manshi or whatever. That's just the definite answer, and that is not a credit to Bo Black's. That's just a damning indictment of Movie Bob.
Harry Potter arc someday. I'm not against it in concept. It's just I don't know how high it ranks. You know.
I'm not very passionate about that, really, but I'm not opposed to it either. So
I know. A lot of fans would enjoy it, and it will be sort of interesting to go through them because I watched them all as they came out. So it's like I wonder how they, hold up. I guess.
Well, I mean, I read them as they came out. Did you read the books as they were coming out?
I can't read.
Nope.
Oh, well, fair enough. That's why you make that's why you do a podcast, because in
which I read out messages.
Can't read. That's Rags. That's Rags' opinion there. That's
It is. Yep. If you're on a podcast,
you can put that in quotations.
That's right. If you're on a podcast, you probably can't read. But I read the
you're
Harry
on a
Potter books when they
podcast,
were coming out. Am I? I don't think so.
I didn't tell him we were recording this.
Rags.
I think that's negatory. I think that was fact check false by Real American Patriots. So, yeah. But yeah, when I was really young and the books were coming out, they were a huge sensation, as many of you remember. Some of you, I guess, don't, because you weren't fucking alive or sapient at the time. And they were huge, and it was a thing for a Harry Potter book to come out. That was like a big cultural thing, and everyone at school read them. They were big, they were huge, and this was before the movies. This was just books, and they were really big. Used to be a time people gave a shit about books.
Hallows came out, there was a lot of that was. But again, it was just like I was just looking at that like, yeah, but I mean, I don't really know or care about this thing, so I don't really get it. I suppose,
I kind of wish it was a bit more common for everyone, like a global effort to get invested and follow a book series that everyone's super interested in, and that there's news of like queues and there's a spoiler warning for people who read it within like a day or whatever. I think Gary said that when I think it's Half-Blood Prince with the big spoiler in it, and he was like planning on reading it, and someone just came into his store like the morning after it was released, or even the same day, and just said the spoiler, and he wanted to kill the person, I guess.
What Makes a sense. Fucker!
Yeah, I could find that like, pretty annoying, but I mean it's just cool that there was a cultural passion for a book at that time. That's neat, but I wonder if we'll get that again. Come on, George R. R. Martin.
Good books?
I hope so.
Are they actually good books, or
no idea?
Like, what's the deal on that?
This thing, I was so young when I read them, and my frame of reference for quality and everything was just all askew. I don't know.
Oh.
You see, the thing is, I think that there's a little bit of I can't believe it, the cultural taint. I don't like to say that, but I think there's a bit of cultural taint nowadays because of J.K. Rowling herself and her cultural political views that seem to maybe coincidentally coincide with a lot of people all of a sudden realizing or saying, "Oh, actually, Harry Potter was always really bad,
Well, I guess the
and
thing
you
is
shouldn't read the
that
books and
Harry
everything."
Potter existed like before there was more of a sort of landscape for like more critical sort of like more involved analysis of actually like storytelling in terms of popular media compared to the like 4-minute format for reviews that was like the only format for reviews for a long time, or like a column in a newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
And like that format necessarily limits the degree to which you could actually like go into detail about anything. um I mean, I don't know if those books are good or not.
I was just distracted by the concept of a cultural taint. Like, makes me think of Twitter, basically.
Well, yeah, some people.
mean,
I
Twitter
think
is
doctors
pretty
call it the
awful, yeah.
cultural perineum,
Mm-hmm.
but
So anyway, I don't know if I should be excited or scared. Why not both?
scared.
Oh,
Be excited to be scared. Embrace it.
yeah.
I love the way this sucks. It's a mindset.
Oh boy, an episode all about Movie Bob. Will we see Tipple? Not with him. He doesn't do tipples. Different kind of beast. Not interested in that sort of thing. He has standards, you know.
He would never stoop so low as Boogie.
Horrific. I don't know if I can take a year of film, Roberto. What, a year of... Oh, like you assume that we were heading toward like year of Robert. That's not... Don't worry about that. I wasn't
No,
gonna...
That will
that'll never
not
happen.
happen.
We didn't even do a year of Boogie. He just... The year of Boogie
No.
happened to... It just seemed to sort of come out that way.
Yeah, but now it's not interesting anymore.
No,
It's
Not right
tainted.
now, anyway.
It's tainted by the.
He needs to be really under pressure. Like if it's all a meme and a joke and just to make money, then it's not interesting. It's
Exactly.
only interesting when it actually is like a difficult
When it's earnest
situation to be
misery.
dealing with. Yeah, because the cancer thing was just. I mean, that's just like Jesus Christ.
well, yeah, he could have even
that-
claimed, "Oh, it got so much engagement, and I totally found it." But it's like everyone knows that was like legitimately
Everybody knows that you were.
a career. I was about to say career destroying, but more accurately, it would be career changing, I suppose.
Yeah.
Permanently locks him out of if there was one point that could be highlighted as permanently locking the door to what he used to have, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Lying about having cancer, you're not ever going to get to a point where like people actually treat you as any kind of like moral authority on anything, which in a sense is what he tried to do back in the day. Give it his perspective and his nice neutral middle ground, because if you're in the middle, that's better. That means that I love how that was like completely not earnest at all. It was just because he thought that was the best way not to piss anybody off and make money.
Yeah, I mean, all of it. I would, if there was a chance at interviewing him, that probably would be the way to go now. To be like, can you explain why? Like, what was the strategy? And did you? Do you regret spending so much of your life lying to everybody at all? Obviously, knowing the answer would be no, because he's apparently like made statements related to how he's making more money now than he was even at his height of Mr. Rogers' Boogie.
I find that a little bit hard to believe, but
so do I, especially with the sponsorships angle, right? Like. He was getting free stuff constantly and getting paid to talk about it. Like,
and he was uploading like every day or once every 2 days, and he'd be regularly getting hundreds of thousands of views. Like if you're doing that while releasing, something like 300 videos in a year plus sponsorships, yeah, I'd be surprised if he's making more now. But I mean, I guess he is making more right now than he was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah. But no, yeah, no worries. Not doing a year of him. Sup, Lips? You think you can hide from me, bish? All right.
No, I don't believe.
This is.
I mean, hiding from a bush can't like get up and walk around. So you probably
can't
just
even
be
notice
fine hiding
you.
from a. Well, assuming
has
that
no
it
mind.
could, assuming it
Oh.
could, all you need to do is just like
Zoom
sort
in
of,
good.
go in a different direction, and then eventually it won't see you, and then you'll be good, and you can hide from that bush.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
I take it Gamer from Mars had a bit of a glow up. I don't know. I don't really track him.
I don't know anything about it myself.
This is up there with the tragedy of Darth Boogie the Wide and EFAP title championships. Also high ranks.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with Darth Boogie the Wide. I
That's
gotta
a
tell
really
you,
good name.
I'm pretty happy with
Is
that
it?
one.
Well, the real question may be, what is better, the tragedy of Darth Boogie the Wide or Hassan Man of Steel?
Man of Steel is pretty strong in that it's very
It's
very to the
concise.
point, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Man of Steel. I think I like that better, but they're neck and neck.
I liked my
Much like Boogie's.
my Farquaad Photoshop of in that thumbnail from years ago. It took a while, okay, but I thought it looked pretty good. Farquaad's such a great character.
He really is.
Yeah.
You'll emulate him.
We should all seek
that,
to be like Lord Farquaad.
But then you might end up in a dragon.
Yeah. Looks nice and warm, comfy.
Mm.
Hero.
Hero.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Fleamish massives. Farewell and adieu, you massives of Fleam. Shark Arc for Halloween. Well, probably not doing Shark Arc for Halloween this year. I believe this will be out before our Halloween arc. But who knows what will happen in future? Oh, this one says I missed you guys. Aw. Well, here we are. I blame EFAP and Nick Diorio for ruining Massive. I'm either calling people Massives or doing the low tape of fade meme. You know what else is massive? It is crazy because
You know what else is massive?
I've watched enough of his stuff to know that he has his own Massive meme. So do we. It's crazy.
Listen, it's a great word. All
It
right,
is a great
it could
word.
describe all kinds of things.
I'm glad everyone's a Massive. Also, hi Rags.
Hello.
Hi Mutually. Hello. Hi Frog Daddy G.
Hello.
In the house.
Hi Nick, Platoon, and Cyborg, and I didn't forget anybody. They would say hi back. Movie Blob, back at it again. He won't ever leave, will he? Just like I won't ever stop telling you dumbos to play DDLC. Well, until you do. So do it. Maybe one day.
To think about.
Need a real version of Snow White where women end up in a mirror that constantly corrects her bad takes and opinions, and it keeps returning too. Well,
Snow White's bad takes and opinions?
I suppose it'd be handy if everybody had a little mirror that helped them out in that way. Just don't waste your time asking who's the fairest, and then don't get...
I mean, that should be just a mirror. Like, when you look at a mirror, you should... Like, it's symbolic of... I mean, it's literally physical, like, reflection. But it should also maybe stand for, a bit of mental introspection.
No, that's silly. I want a spooky
yourself,
face man in there to go, hey man. And I'm like, hey dude, how you doing? You like living in the mirror?
That's fair enough.
He's like,
I can't complain.
Yeah.
And then you'd be like you're magically bound to not complain, like you couldn't if you wanted to. And then he'd say, I don't know, actually. But thanks for putting that thought in my head.
If that's the case, I guess they didn't tell me. I've admit... This is a very, very good quote. I'm admittedly beset by tiredness.
Oh my god.
Did he say beset upon by tiredness?
Oh fuck. There's a few of those that he said, but that
obvious that my hands are cold.
There is no social stigma against wearing gloves or some shit.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know, like, if you see someone wearing gloves, like, it is
and
kind
gloves
of like
and a t-shirt and shorts. That is weird as fuck.
That is strange. That's like you're about to, like, move furniture or something. You're about to do yard work.
Yeah.
If you're wearing gloves because you just got off a motorcycle, if you're wearing gloves because you're in the army, or you're wearing gloves because you're going snowboarding, these are all contexts in which you can understand why someone would be wearing gloves.
Activity.
Or you're in the garden or something. Whereas if you're just sitting at your computer and it just seems to be a normal day and you're wearing gloves,
and you don't expect people not to make fun of you, even just to ask. It's like, are the gloves for something? And he's like, my hands are cold. You're like, Okay.
also a pretty funny
That's the
thing.
last thing I would expect, because then you wouldn't be wearing a t-shirt.
Well, yeah, why would your hands be notably colder than just like the rest
Oh, I
of
suppose
the
it's
room?
possible. It's just strange.
And doubly
that's all.
so if you're manipulating a computer, where gloves would, like, obviously
Were
get in
they
the way.
were they
you
hobo
know?
gloves, or that's what I call them,
Oh,
the
fingerless
fingerless ones.
gloves.
I call them hobo
Yeah.
gloves. That's what I
Still,
Oh yeah.
like. I guess
especially
it
your
helps.
mouse.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, it's obvious that my hands are cold.
He seems so
Yeah.
upset.
The temperature
Yeah,
question would have been the last thing I would have assumed.
he just
I think I
he
wouldn't
just
have
said
assumed
why.
it because I'd be like, nah, it's too weird. Because like, why would his hands
Because he
be
would just turn
so?
up.
And besides,
Yeah.
this
He just
people
turn
have
up the
watched him
thermostat.
for presumably years, and he's never done that before. Like,
Exactly.
what the fuck?
Hence why it's confusing. And I assume he hasn't worn gloves ever since.
Probably not. No, he's just never
Because
had cold hands since. That's all.
it's not because he was being mad about people asking him why he's wearing
He's
gloves.
considered wearing the gloves, and he's like, no, I can't. I can't.
Better to have cold hands than a inquisitive chat.
Exactly. I'm fully on board for the LolCow coverage arc of EFAP. Well, it's very specific. Very specific.
Yeah,
Something
it
has to
really is.
happen.
Yeah, Boogie's got to fuck up again, and not in a way that's like scripted or anything. It's got to be like an actual mistake. Then it might become interesting again.
As long as the horse passes the Harkness test, go wild. Hi, Rags.
Hello. True.
Every Fringle a Pringle.
Fringy, what's your favorite Pringle flavor?
Well, I'm gonna be boring. It's like the original flavor. That's
Yeah,
my
fair
favorite
enough.
for Pringles.
It is a classic.
We'll allow it.
I do like it.
Pringles are all
I
right. They're fine.
Yeah, I don't mind Pringles. I kind of like the format of Pringles. Like in the
I
tube and everything.
agree.
It's kind of a fun way of presenting chips.
It is incredibly well packaged. The way that they
Yeah.
fit together, the fact you can put them in a
Mhm.
tube, and there's essentially no wasted space in that tube for the Pringles. That's great. The only
And
weakness that it has is that as you eat more and more and more, you have to like tip it over a little bit. But that's
yeah, that's right.
not much at
But
all.
that's not a big deal.
That is not a big ask for the incredible benefits of the sheer stacking capacity. How many Pringles are in a Pringle can? I'm gonna Google that now and find out.
I've never given that much thought, but I mean, obviously the fact that they're all uniform, is kind of like interesting as well. Because usually with chips, that's not the case.
If you open one,
Kinda
it's
like-
like cracked and ruined by being tossed around. You're like, well,
yeah, you're
that
kinda
just
like,
destroyed my whole experience.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate. You see that and you're like, damn, that's okay. I won't hold it against you, Mr. Pringles man with his mustache. Though I think they didn't they do like a modernized sort of like redesign where it's just like not an illustration anymore. Like it's more like a boring, just a boring grayscale sort of thing.
Probably. Sounds like something they'd do.
It looks like about 80.
Yeah, but I suppose that follows.
Does that sound like a lot of chip? Does 80 chips sounds like a lot to me.
I guess because they're consistently sized and shaped as well,
Yeah,
because a
but
lot of other
80
packs might have like smaller and bigger,
But how many? Oh shit! Now I'm actually curious. How many popcorn kernels are in a bag of like microwave popcorn?
Oh,
Kernels in a bag. Because now I'm kind of thinking. And we're talking about because we have to decide what we're gonna do. How many kernels are in there, or basically how many do you actually get? Because maybe what 5-10% might not pop.
pop, yeah.
Oh, which isn't switching. It's not a huge deal. You get enough in there. But
Well, it's just
I
that,
mean-
it could be that if for long enough to make sure that they all pop would probably burn most of them. Just how it goes.
someone did a count on chowhound.com and they counted 437 kernels in a bag of microwave popcorn.
Okay.
Interesting.
The Pokemon that truly represents Boogie is Garbodor from Gen 5. Also, what's the most interesting real-life thing you did in 2024? Also, hi, Rags.
Hello.
Yeah,
Say that. What was the question part? Oh, Garbodor. Yeah, this Pokemon sucks.
Well, it's just
I know
'cause I
Garbodor,
remember
yeah.
that we concluded that he's definitely not Snorlax.
He's not Snorlax, no.
Because
Oh,
Snorlax is like harmless. Basically, he's just snoozing and minding his own
Snorlax
business.
isn't manipulating everybody with his stinky
No,
bullshit.
Snorlax is a simple man with simple needs, which is to sleep like all the time.
I got a Snorlax last week.
I kind of want to buy a Snorlax plush. Yeah, I do really like Snorlax. He's a fun guy.
Let's see. He's a fun guy, not as much as Paris or Parasect, but
I get
that was
it.
a little joke. Real fan. But yeah, I got a Snorlax here. I got a first edition jungle graded Snorlax because I really like the card.
Oh, you mean you have a
good-
Snorlax Pokemon trading
Yeah,
card?
Pokemon card. I
Really
got one.
thought you
It's
had a
kind of been on
cute,
my.
floofy, like plushie to hug.
I thought you had a fluffy Snorlax. Yeah.
He's fluffy in my mind. When I look at him, he's a little fluffy. He's a little bit, just a little bit. He has
Just
has
a
like
little bit
suede
fluffy.
kind of fur, right? Very like thin and smooth, like a Rottweiler or something.
That's what I would imagine. Yeah, it's not like it's not like a golden retriever kind of deal.
Yeah, he's not a seal, but he's short haired, warm.
As
But yeah,
for
I
the
love him.
second question, I'm not sure what I can't remember. I mean,
can't
what the
remember
most
which things
thing
happened
is
in
that I did.
2024 either.
Yeah, 2024.
Can you say that? What was the question specifically?
What was the most interesting real-life thing you did in 2024?
Personal. I'll keep to myself.
I'm trying to remember things.
I can't remember. Yeah,
I don't remember if I
can't
did
remember.
axe throwing for the first time or not in 2024, but that was very fun.
I went to a furry convention. That was fun and interesting.
Well, there you have it.
There you go.
We did it. Yay, Nick is back. And I was just thinking, we need more anti-movie Bob content, lol. Did anyone update the Bob or Nazi quiz? Hi, Rags. I
Hello.
don't think it needed updating. It was kind of definitive. It was like 70
It's a timeless
questions.
classic.
Yeah.
Like many of those quotes, timeless classics.
And we didn't do that well on it, which I find so funny.
Well,
actually difficult.
Didn't we get like 65, 70%
60%,
correct?
something like that. Yeah. 60
Well,
or
it depends on
70%.
what grading curve we're doing. Okay, movie Bob quotes versus Nazi quotes. You'd think, like, I know he's a piece of shit, but you'd think, and we were able to guess a lot of his worst quotes because we know them.
I think
He's a
I
wacky
wonder
guy.
if
Like
a lot of
we scored pretty bad, I think, considering we're relatively familiar with him, and we have somewhat familiarity with Nazi quotes. I think.
I think the lexicon is what gave away a lot of them. It wasn't the actual content of the quotes.
If it was really, really, really like long as sort of a statement, that was more of an indication that it was movie Bob because he has very long sentences.
Honestly, there were several where we would like talk about it for a good while because we were just not. There's a good argument for both of them, and then we'd realize we were wrong or something.
Really, you should think like. I mean, I know that he wouldn't, but like that should be the kind of thing that makes you go like, "Fuck." You know what I mean? Like if you just have a bunch of quotes and people genuinely struggle to discern whether they're things that you said or Hitler, you would think at that point like you'd go like, "Oh shit, that's probably something that
bad."
should be worked on." That's pretty bad.
Because Bob's a coward creature. Blade Runner ripoff.
Is he cowardly?
I don't know. It's not a word that comes to mind for me necessarily.
No.
The thing is, I just don't know enough about what he's ran away from, so to speak. You know?
Yeah, who knows, right?
Yeah.
Like, is Boogie a coward? Absolutely. That's easy.
Oh, he's a mega coward. Yeah.
But yeah, I know more about Boogie than I do Movie Bob. In the future, people are manufactured by corporations on various worlds. When a person gets old enough to retire, a runner is sent. They've just said Blade Runner ripoff and then said that. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. Are they trying
Yeah,
to
I don't
say...
know.
It's like a
Are they talking
Logan's
about some
Run
other thing, like some
kind of
other
thing.
series or
I don't know.
story?
Did you ever see Logan's Run?
I have not.
Ages and ages ago. The strange film is all I remember. Also, there's boobies.
It's a bad movie, but I think it's kind of like fun and goofy, but it's a bad movie.
I remember
And
you made this very
Logan's
clear in
Run
our
is,
Jurassic Park episode.
Listen, I like the concept. That's the kind of movie that needs a remake, is Logan's Run. A film that has a neat premise, that's interesting, that you can do a lot with, but was done really poorly. So, yeah. Remake Logan's Run.
You don't want them remaking anything, really.
I think they can give it a shot.
Who's writing, who's directing?
Who would I want doing Logan's Run? That is a good question. I'd want it to be like a...
Does Rex
Beach
know
is
who
the
Aaron
only
Sorkin
penguin?
is?
It was Social Network. You've seen Social Network, right, Rags?
I have not, but I hear it's very good.
All right. We need to get you watch Social Network.
All right.
Is that more of a priority than Flow?
Surely we have to go with the Flow.
I really, well, I mean, Social Network is one of Fincher's best films.
Yeah, Rags, how many Fincher films have you seen?
Oh, I'm not good with matching up like production to
You seen Fight
product
Club?
necessarily. Yes.
You seen Gone Girl?
No.
Did you see Girl with the Dragon Tattoo?
No.
Okay, so there's probably is a good number of. You see Seven?
Oh, that's the one
Brad
about the
Pitt,
serial
Morgan
killer, right?
Freeman. Yeah.
Oh, I think I have. Or am I mixing that up with Skeleton Key? I don't think I've seen Seven.
Okay, so we got a few Fincher films then.
The Killer, that was fucking great.
Yeah, no,
according to the world.
Not
they're
they're
wrong.
They're wrong about that one. That was super underrated. That might be one of the most underrated films.
It might be,
the last 10 years. Like, it's kind of crazy.
Well, there you go. Would love an EFAP breakdown of a Simpsons video sometime in future. I love when Mulder and Fringy can flex expertise on the subject. Also, hi diddly ho Rags.
Oh, hi diddly ho.
Flex expertise. I mean, you know, it's more so
You're
just
missing,
remember
you're
when
missing
this
out
happened.
You're missing out on a really elegant portmanteau.
Flexpertise?
There we go.
But
see, it's so elegant.
I know,
just,
that's just that's the difference between us. That was your focus. My focus was like, I think they're overplaying myself and Fringy's contributions to the Simpsons analysis over the course of episodes when we're going, remember when X, so just like yes, and then Y, and then Z. But fair,
yeah, that's mainly what it is.
All we've done is convince the world we are absolutely not lying when we're people who love The Simpsons.
Yeah.
So the lead character, this is from that rip-off thing. A robot who wants to keep working but gets retirement notice comes into hiding and pursued by Steven Seagal. Runner. If this is a film that exists, I don't think I've seen it. I haven't seen like any Steven Seagal films.
What's the date? What's the year it came out?
I don't have any of that. All they've said is rip-off. Ah yes, no insight from Muller and Fringy, unlike me, movie blob, the totally legit intellectual. Why is he such a loser? What the hell? Well, to be fair, he hates us. You know, like, you shouldn't expect any kind of charitability in terms of assessing us. He thinks he would probably have us killed if he could, unfortunately. This is, again, it's good that he has no power. We've said this before.
But I mean, as for he's got a chip on his shoulder, and he's kind of weirdly honest about that. He does seem to like really be bitter.
Well, I mean, he's not got a fantastic life, and he's obviously going to blame everything that's not himself. Even though
I mean,
he's
you
had
say
more
that,
opportunities in the
but
industry than most people could ever
that's
have.
what I was about to say. It's like, yeah, and even then, he still managed to essentially be making YouTube videos for like 15
He
years.
works for fucking
Like,
Game Theory now.
yeah, like whatever problems he had, it's like that's it's not like he's had to work in retail or fast food or anything like that for like his entire life, like on really low wages. Like yeah. I mean, all things considered, which I suppose that should almost be like the sign. It's like it's your mentality, man. It's all in your head. Like
Yeah.
sort of attitude on things. You can be in a situation that's like objectively better than a lot of people and still be like absolutely miserable. Meanwhile, someone can be in a much worse situation and just be like, "Yeah, but I love being alive." And then,
I
and
hate
then
being
that's
alive.
that.
I hate being alive. I hate breathing. I hate
And
being alive.
that would never not be funny.
Kill me, kill me.
I will say, Fringy, that what you just said there actually reminded me of something. I ran into figuratively, I ran into somebody, a new pal, buddy, chum, whatnot, and their Discord bio, it instantly reminded me of you because their about me is a quote. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this,
That
you have
sounds
the
like
power to revoke at any moment.
that sounds
Which
like
made
a
me think of
quote.
you.
It's probably from Seneca or Marcus Aurelius, something like
It
that.
is an Aurelius
Sounds,
quote, and I know that
yeah.
because you brought it up.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, well.
Meditations is a great book. That's a really interesting, unique book because of just the fact that it wasn't intended to be published. Like it was his diary. Basically, it was the diary of a Roman emperor trying to essentially work through like a lot of the problems that he was having to deal with and his outlook and attitude, and it's not like his reign was not it wasn't easy. There was like a lot of problems that he had to deal with that were very difficult. There was like a plague. There was several wars.
I could have done
So
it.
it's like really interesting to. Well, I mean, you would be the sixth good Roman emperor.
Yeah. Been easy. Just give them cake
I
or
don't know.
bread or whatever. It'll be fine.
There were more than 5 Roman emperors, and there are 5 that are singled out as being the good ones, which
Quite an accolade for them.
Yeah, and I suppose the interesting thing being that it was all in succession. It was one after the other after the other. It was 5 really relatively good ones, and then it all went to shit
It'd be
after
cool if they made
Marcus
like a
Aurelius.
say called Succession, all about like
All about
high
the
end
5 good emperors.
inheritance and yeah, just like a bunch of family members who could inherit a big empire from someone.
Oh, right, and then we start to and it leads to a really satisfying conclusion.
Yep, where they
It
stick the
doesn't end.
landing. Yeah.
Like
It doesn't
that's
end with
ever
them
gonna happen.
screaming at each other.
Hello from Norway. In Norway, people have started handing in Tesla cars because of Musk and Trump, and sales of Tesla cars have dropped drastically. Is this woke? Well, I mean, this is like the millionth time this has happened in history where any public figure that makes it. I mean, look at J.K. Rowling, who was just mentioned earlier. It's like you could argue her products have both gone up and down because of people who would support
depending on
or
who you talk to.
boycott. Yeah, like people do this all the time. I actually think this is extremely common. Whether or not you like a person will very much impact whether or not you buy their product. That's definitely.
Yeah, I mean that's of course. Like if you really disagree with his political views or the way he conducts himself, and then you're like,
Yeah.
well, do you want to buy that car or do you want to buy any other car that you could buy? And then, plus, I'm pretty sure the market share stuff dropping is just also related to there being more competitive EV manufacturers that are arising at this point, both new companies and legacy companies that have started to catch up. So it's I mean it's pretty down. I'm pretty sure in Europe at this point, like substantially down. I mean that's part of the problem, right? You as a car company, you don't want to be in a position where people view the cars as something of a political statement.
Yeah.
That's like nobody like looks at a Toyota and thinks of that like, oh well, if you drive a Toyota, all they might say is, oh, I guess you like reliable cars or something. Like that might be what they think. Or like if you drive a BMW, like, oh, I see, oh, there you are, like, or an Audi or something like that. You don't want it to be like, oh, do you drive this car because you have this very specific political opinion?
Well, and
It's not
that's
a
the
good
thing. There are
place to be in
people,
with your products.
who will believe that about you, and there are people who are buying the car for that reason now. Like, I will support
Yeah,
this because it supports,
which kind of
XYZ.
it's kind of a downward spiral at that point because then it contributes to that as a. Though I'm pretty sure people have gotten bumper stickers saying like, "I bought this before," like
Well, yeah, basically, like they can't afford to fuck around with buying or selling right now. So they're just like, look, I'm not. I
Yeah.
don't want anything to do with that. I'm just me.
No, the Cybertruck more so feels like the one that is hard to escape as people making that point. Compared to if you had like a Model 3 or something. The Cybertruck feels very much affixed to him more so than like to the broader company.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean I imagine if the company goes down, which seems like it's not an impossibility, that will be an important lesson.
It'll be
Of like
certainly
you
a
probably don't
big old chapter in the events as
in
they went
the
down.
automotive industry, I guess, of just like, yeah, you really want to avoid your car being perceived
You
like
should
that
have
if you drive the car, you have a very specific political opinion.
watched Homer's Brother. That would have been
He
giving him
should.
the
He
key to it.
absolutely should have. When I see Homer's car, I do think of the Cybertruck a little bit in terms of just like this bizarre machination.
It's very very niche purpose, and it's but
niche and really expensive, and not very good at the thing it's trying to be.
I'm ruined.
How much did the car cost? Was
It's
it like
something ridiculous.
$80,000?
But it's a good car in Simpsons Hit and Run. I stand by that.
I enjoyed that as a car. I mean, that's one of the later cars, right? You drive that one around in the last Homer mission, right?
No, you buy that one.
Well,
I want to say as Apu off Homer, which you could count as that you get Bart's levels and then Homer's levels after that. So it's not quite. It's like the end of the mid game.
Right. Yeah.
Confront Fatty on the allegations. You're gonna have to be more specific when you say fatty.
particularly when the topic is movie Bob and Boogie and stuff.
I don't know.
You gotta be specific.
Boogie could be fucking anything, and then movie Bob. I don't know if there was any recent allegations or whatever. So yeah, I'm gonna have to bust out my late grandpa's bottle of Bikardi he gave me when I turned 21 for this stream. May God have mercy on all of us. God. Movie Mauler, Cinema Fringy, Theater Rags, Kino Wolf, and Lichtspielhaus Metal. Kino already German?
Only what I know, only from what I picked up from the Movie Bob quiz. Very hateful language.
Yeah. It sounds kind of cool, though. I kind of like it.
It does sound pretty cool.
Nostalgia Critic is made fun of... Oh, sorry. It's so hard to tell what's happening in these sentences. Nostalgia Critic is made fun of lovingly. By Benny. There's a lot of people who hate him, though.
I make fun of him lovingly.
Yeah, I can't...
I find him amusing.
For every video that gets released saying he's the one that ruined media criticism, I'm just like, no, nobody did. Everyone sucks on their own. Like at this point, it's so stupid to be like, it was CinemaSins, it was Nostalgia Critic, or it was people like us or Drink or whatever have you. It's just like, shut up. These people, as much as they can change how people think about stuff and everything, which is definitely true, like Red Letter Media as well. At the same time, they are popular because people agree with them at the time. For whatever reason, it's reflective of a current state, a mindset, and this, that way, and the other. Audiences make a lot of these channels influential and to begin with. Blah, blah, blah. Because people often get frustrated with the analysis, the accuracy to history, but, I mean, there is a little, kernel of, like, you couldn't do it yourself. You had to just copy Nostalgia Critic, and now everything's ruined. In the sense that when you say he ruined media criticism... It's like you're saying that everybody who watched him just thought that was the correct way to do it instead of watching him and coming away with their own fucking interpretation. But nobody... what they do is they hear that and they're like, yes. Not me, though. Everyone else. And you're like, okay.
Everybody else is wrong. Everyone is stupid except me.
Classic. That one's got the fucking one of the best jokes of all Simpsons where Flanders pushes him out on the on the mattress.
Yeah. It's like, oh lord, like guide him through. Smash.
It's that hard cut back to Ned's reaction of just.
Yeah. And then doing the little somersault to get back in. Yeah.
I wonder if when they first did it, it was silent from Homer, and then they were like, I think it'd be funnier to like have him.
And they were right.
Noises.
Then it's funnier to
Fuck
have him make a little sound. That's a great episode.
Yes, it is. Homer the Heretic, right?
Yes. Really, really funny and poignant and interesting.
Movie Bob the Movie. It is the year 2049, and the YouTuber Movie Bob became aware of a danger to Earth. Goes on a quest to defeat this threat with sidekick Bo. Bo? You know what Bo?
Oh.
Right, well.
No. Maybe they... No.
No. Hi, everyone. Hi, Rags.
Hello.
Hello. Loved your new Dog Bites video.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Thank you.
Nostalgia Critic is mocked for how he does his job. Movie Bob is mocked for who he is as a person.
Oh, yeah. And how he does his job.
And how he does his job.
You could argue he's mocked for every aspect of his online existence, Movie Bob.
Inside and outside.
How he makes food.
His house with a little window.
You know.
Just really every aspect of him. I mean, the only thing that you could praise about him is confidence.
I suppose that's complicated. That's complicated. What you know.
But Hitler had confidence, so, and determination, and he was a visionary, right? But we don't typically assign these as positive qualities to him. So,
fuck Tom Nook. He's a measly little crook. Also, hi Rags.
Hello, but you're wrong. He's not a measly little crook.
I can't stand interest-free loans. I'm just going to repeat that until the end of time. Interest-free loans. He's basically giving you money.
That doesn't even really do him credit to say interest-free loans. They're not even loans.
Yeah, you can pay them off whenever you want. Like there isn't any
if you want them. Yeah, if you want them.
Monthly repayment for that. Like
he gives you money.
It's just funny because people are like, yeah, but you're perpetually in debt. It's like, yeah, but it's meaningless debt because like you can't. There's no monthly repayments. Like you, what does it mean to say?
Fringy, I don't think that's fair. You're not.
Pay off?
If someone says you're constantly in debt, that's because they go out of their way to request he gives them the next free upgrade that they can optionally pay off. So that's the self-report to say that you're always in debt.
I do find it amusing as well that people like, yeah, but it's kind of a commentary on capitalism. How like as like as he gets enriched, it's like what? While you get a bigger house, like I don't understand. Like yeah, he makes the big supermarket, but you got a big house, so like it's not exploitative.
And you get the big supermarket too.
Yeah, that's
it's one of the best things that can happen to your town. Is the Tom Nook store upgrade? You get more items every day to choose from and more services. Everyone profits, even the villagers.
A local business. This is not like it's not like the Walmart of the Animal Crossing world. Like it is local. It is locally owned by Tom Nook, and like all that money gets returned to build up the community. Like I don't know, man. Like and then there's, I don't get it. I think it's like a meme, and like nobody fucking thinks about it. Except for people who try to say it is like a commentary on capitalism. It's like what, a favorable one. Like, it's the idea that everybody benefits, essentially. And again, it's like interest-free loans. You don't have to pay them back. So what's the point of making things about, like, oh, well, he had you in debt? It's meaningless debt. The reason why debt is bad is because you have to fucking pay it back. Like, in terms of once it gets really big and crippling, it's like, you gotta pay it back and you can't. If it's interest-free, and he doesn't ever push you to, he just says, hey, get to it whatever you want. I don't know how we're not. There's a pillar of the community right here.
I wish it was a commentary on capitalism.
Well, I guess the thing is that it would be not a super accurate one. Because I can't think of
if it was an accurate reflection of capitalism, that would be like amazing. If every capitalist was like him, that'd be insane. He's like the He is the paragon.
Well, I mean,
he's the patron saint of good capitalism.
Interest is the incentive for people to give you loans, because why else?
Give loans,
you know?
yeah, they'll make money off of it.
Yeah,
in
if
some way,
anything, he's
shape, or form.
unsustainably selfless. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
He's
the
very
point would be
kind.
that interest-free loans mean that he's effectively, the longer that you don't pay him back, the more money you make, essentially, that he allows you to make off of him.
It's the kind of thing
Yo,
Flanders
he's
would do, where you ask him for $100,000,
yeah.
he'd probably give it to you, and he asks you, when can I have it back? And you're like, yeah, eventually.
And you say, okay, look,
He is investing in you,
go
the
that way.
player, if anything.
Of course. And investing in the town, everybody benefits. Everybody can get bigger houses and more goods and services. I just find it crazy that, again, everybody... And, he's a family man as well, taking care of his nephews, giving them work opportunities in the shop. I don't get
That's
it.
right.
Like, Tom Nook is a pillar of the community. And
Anyway.
plus, he's a little... Well, I think in Japan he's a tanuki, but in the West he's a raccoon. It's kind of a fun
They look
thing.
similar, but it's regional differences.
They are nothing alike. The Japanese raccoon dog is a dog, and raccoons are not dogs.
Hey gamers, I'll have to catch the stream after work, but I want to say please have Nick on more often, because he fits in perfectly on EFAP. The boogie streams are my comfort streams. Well, sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just that, we want to grab him in when we're doing something that we know he's invested in. I don't want to just grab him for, like... Did he see something like a Joker 2? I don't even know.
I don't know.
I can't imagine that's something that... unless they get a Fortnite skin for it, I don't know if he's gonna... Oh, Joker 2 pinball table.
Ooh. Fully adieu. Pinball extravaganza.
Mm-hmm.
That movie was a big tilt.
Yes, it was. Why not replace media literacy with media diet? Well, I mean, they are the same... Well, they're in the same realm, in terms of... You know exactly what they're designed to do as phrases. Please cover the H3 Hassan content nuke. It should be covered. We are not the podcast to be covering that, alright?
Nope.
You're looking for everyone else. I think everybody seems to cover that other than us, so you should be alright, I think. Cinema Snob did BC and snuff films. I think, yeah, he works, has worked with Nostalgia Critic. Kind of awesome fella, if I remember. Stoked, I finally caught you guys live. Been watching archives on YouTube since 2020. Won't be sticking around as I'm currently working through all the old episodes. Started 30 today. Thanks for all the gym and commute entertainment. No problem.
Mm-hmm.
Have a fun adventure. I had a funny idea, but I'll save it for a short film. Alright. Good stuff.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
Don't worry, I'll live a long life of heartbreak and alcoholism before a ghost kills me. Wait, why are you still crying? Because the pajamas are gay. Oh. You never know what kind of messages you'll receive when you're doing Super Chats, and that's what makes it so fun.
That is. It
could be anything
makes it special.
YouTube hid dislikes to protect Biden-mentia regime? Well, there's probably a lot of stupid reasons why they would have liked to have done it. It's just annoying they committed to it. As in, like, they didn't go, you know what, maybe this was a mistake. But, I just remember the rating system, man. Long gone, up and down.
Yeah, that was that's been gone at this point for, like, well over 15 years. I don't know. Did it even make it into the 2010s? I actually can't remember when it got replaced with likes.
Just, there's been so many controversies over time. It's so consistent. They will do a big change and everyone will hate it. That's just how it
Nobody
works.
likes it. Well, yeah. And I remember when it was the change from being able to heavily customize the art for a channel to then just the little banner. Okay.
It's just, I guess this is way better. Some executive suit was like, what if we just made it less customizable and interesting per page? Sure thing. We'll just standardize everything. Only let you customize. Ugh. Fucking hate it.
My lawyers of choice are Jakey, and Jakey attorneys at law. Trying to think. I don't get the reference. I'm sorry. Jakey and Jakey. Probably either a TV show or YouTube thing. Don't know.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not familiar.
Doc Bob, so he's a completely normal dude. Yeah, like the opposite version. Stop making fun of Daniel the Demon Slayer. Alright, because these were like, Movie Bob had a bunch of custom characters in his videos. That's the era he was in.
Yeah.
Dark Bob was one of them, which it'd be cool to check out some Dark Bob, see what evil thoughts he has, you know. If you play this video ever again, I will find you and insert something horrible. Oh. Don't do that.
Into us?
No, I don't know what they're suggesting
Oh,
necessarily.
insert something. It was like fill in the blank what I'll do to you. I thought I meant like insert, like put
Yeah, I
something
thought
inside of us.
what you were thinking too. So that's why I was just like, all right, you know what, whatever you have to do. Movie Bob probably never failed to meet the word requirement for his essays. Whether he said anything in the essay was the question. It's like sentence structure too.
Yeah, they're really
horrific.
long and needlessly convoluted. It's to the point that it becomes difficult to even. Like, if the sentence is so long that you can't even remember what the first observation was, like, it's probably a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
Because then by the end, you're like, what the fuck was the point of that? Like, what? I can't even remember what you started with.
When I get to the end of Return of the King, I can remember being in the Shire and the Fellowship of the Ring. When Movie Bob finishes a sentence, I don't know how we got there.
Yeah, it's just really.
That's what I was saying. Like, it's
really bad.
The whole like writes on and on and on is like a length thing can be. It can, you know, hurt with like a lot of people can fully understand what you're saying. They're just like, ugh, you're taking so long. But with him, you have to decipher. We have to play him on slow-mo a lot back in the day with different videos, you know?
Yeah, that and him speeding up his voice as well. It's like it's the worst of both worlds. Because again, there's nothing wrong with long sentences. Sometimes, you know, the observation you want to make justifies a lengthy sentence. However, when every single sentence is a paragraph, it is pretty fucking annoying. And it feels like it's sort of antithetical to the actual, like, kind of conventional advice, which is, you know, maybe some brevity might be worthwhile. Your sentence doesn't need to be exceedingly long. If anything, it should be as short as you can make it. You don't need to use, I guess, what kind of? I was about to say, like, I was looking for a word that described essentially like kind of niche words, but in a different term, a different way than that. Like like what, like the word prosaic. What kind of word would you say that is? Like that's kind of a. It's not like a. It's not something you tend to hear very often.
No, if someone used that in conversation randomly with me, I would think, oh, they're somewhat learned or cultured.
How far do I have to push it before you'd be like, okay, Jesus, you know what I mean? Like, because it feels like there are certain words where it's like you get to the point where it's like, dude, like 95% of people don't know what that word means. It's not a case if it's a word you don't hear often, but you know what it means. It's like nobody says that. Like, if anything, you should know that nobody says that, and that if you say it, people won't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Then,
like, it actually kind of ruins your
a
sentence.
lot of it is super contextual based off of inflection and kind of how it's housed in a sentence.
True.
I think.
It's funny. There's words that people use for that reason because they enjoy what the word means. If the person knew it would be funny, but they don't, and they can rely on that. But there's words that have gone so long in that sort of tier that they've become a word that most people know, like defenestrated.
Thrown out a window
is one that everyone like to use to be like, you know, that's what's going to happen, and then people are like, whoa, what? And they have to search it up and they go, oh wow, there's a word for that. But nowadays, most people know it because that meme has been done so many times. Interesting. How things evolve.
and if someone likes a word in particular and likes to use it because they have a particular affinity for a word, I think there's a meaningful difference between them trying to be smart and just be like, oh, I think this is a nice word and I'd like to use it, and it'd be nice if it came around to being in the more, common lexicon.
I like the word amalgam.
Amalgam? What does that mean?
Like a combination of elements.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone knows amalgamation. or at least a lot. I actually I don't know. Maybe
I
they
think
don't.
everybody. I feel like everybody.
But I
I
think
feel like
so.
that is kind of in the category of a word that you don't hear super often, but everybody knows what it means.
What do you have a word like that, Fringy, that you kind of really like and wish would be more commonly used, not
I'm not
overused,
sure.
or
For some reason, serendipitous came to mind just then, but I don't know that that's a word that I'm particularly fond of. It's a good word, kind of an interesting word, but I'm trying to think if there's a word that I really like that I wish was said more often.
because I know there
Nothing comes to
are,
mind at the moment, but there
but yeah,
definitely
off the top
are.
of my
Yeah.
head. For me, I mentioned this in a video I made, was somnambulant, which is like sleepy, sluggish, kind of lazy, potentially dreamlike. Somnambulant. I like that word.
I think there's 2 different shows that have the name Somnambulist as an episode. Oh, I've heard of it the
Oh, I
first
assume
time.
that's a sleepwalker.
Well, yeah, both of them relate to dreaming.
Yes. From I don't know exactly what the root is. Probably like somna or let me actually look at the etymology of it because I'm a little bit curious now. Uh, I'm not sure if it's Greek or Latin. Let's see. Can I click here and show etymology? More definitions? No, you fool. Show me the etymology. Um, damn. I'll have to look for it later.
Okay.
But yeah, fair enough.
Trump, please sign an executive order to deport Movie Bob and bring back the YouTube 5-star rating system. Aw. I wouldn't want to deport Movie Bob, alright? It's okay, we can keep him in America. I don't want him ended up in
No, it's
Britain,
funny
okay?
you say, yeah, we.
That's what I was thinking. I was confusing somnambulant with or at least it was relating to the Greek god of sleep is Hypnos. So you probably know what that's the root of. So there goes. Hypnos is the Greek one.
The bullies were intimidated by his amazing heterosexuality. Oh yeah, because he had like bully stories and stuff, didn't he? Bob.
Of course.
Of course he does.
That he thinks about still, even though how old is he? Is he in his like 40s?
It was yeah. I mean, there's like a show I've been watching where there's a character who's particularly awful, and their backstory, when we finally get it, is he was picked on by a bunch of people and bullied in school, and I was just like, yeah, fair. He became like a horrifying monster. It can go multiple ways, you know. Give Bob some credit. He's working hard to redeem his bullies by turning out to have deserved it all along. Redeem the bullies. Cinema Snob is actually how I got my start in YouTube film criticism back in high school, way before y'all. He mainly covered exploitation films and horror, which included some classic corn films as well. Yeah, I didn't like his stuff as much as... Well, I didn't like a lot of the people on Channel Awesome, but there was a few in there that were fun. Diabeto versus Boogie Wen. Dude, that's what we call like a hard counter. Boogie's dead. And, like, immediately.
Yeah.
No actual chance. To be honest with you, there's no chance without the personas. Like, Dipples the Clown versus Diabeto is obvious, but you saw Boogie in Wings. That, yeah, but I don't think Boogie could defend himself from like a small child.
Diabeto.
Certainly not Movie Bob. Movie Bob, I think, could have some like deep-seated sort of. He could do like Kingpin rage.
Yeah. He'd tap into all of being pissed
He would
off
picture
throughout his entire life.
Boogie as like the bully. I go, ah! And then Boogie's like, ah! I think Pirate Software does a lot of good with the ferret rescue and getting people into game development. I just wish he'd stop getting into drama. Yeah, those 2 things are definitely good. Obviously a lot of people are complicated. He's got an enormous ego. Pride is absolutely his fucking sin.
Absolutely, that's his demon. He's the demon of pride and ego. He is extremely vain, and he's a person who sort of requires himself to be viewed in a particular way, he must have control about what people say and think about him to the point where it's clearly some sort of an obsession.
Which is always ironic, isn't it? Because it just makes it so that everyone starts to hate you as soon as that becomes known. Because it's like so cringe. And then people making compilations and stuff, and it's like, maybe don't talk about your second puberty. And
That's
you know,
don't do that.
Just don't do that. That was obviously he planned that as like an explanation. I guess he thought it was very convincing.
I guess he did. It's really not though.
No.
It's okay to have a normal sounding voice.
Yeah, you
it's
don't
fine.
have to.
I do. I don't have a
and besides,
particularly
he
low
didn't have
sounding
to.
voice at all.
He didn't have to go so far down. You know, in training himself a new voice, you don't have to do that. You would have been fine. I know the voice wasn't as, fantastic prior to his change, whatever. But you didn't need to go all the way down to.
Yeah.
He's like, oh,
It's
okay.
too conspicuous. It's too fakey.
No, it's puberty. It was second puberty. Shut up. Okay, late to the stream. One of my sweet fucking crispy critters. Nope, sorry, no movie bob for me on my birthday. See you chaps another time. Yes, okay. Oh, I understand. Hi, Rags.
Hello.
He fashions himself some Machiavelli. Oh, that's like I wonder what that food would be.
Italian, right?
I don't know.
No,
I mean, it would be
a
but
composition.
what kind of food? Yeah, like is it spaghetti?
Machiavelli? No, if it's Machiavelli, it's a lasagna because it's got all those layers in it. Layers of knowledge and wisdom, learnedness. Each layer could potentially be the same or different. It's got a structure to it. It's organized. It's not messy like a spaghetti, It's but yeah, it's a lasagna. It's a lasagna.
I think that's fair. Competitive eating is a wildly different breed. A lot of them spend a ton of time gorging to expand their stomach capacity, then fasting and working to burn the calories. That does make sense. I was actually talking to Fringy about this with some guy who was trying to do the diets of the two largest people in the world, and when he described what the I think it was the largest woman who ever existed, what her diet was, I didn't understand it because surely the food he basically described was, I was like, how could you possibly fit that into your stomach? You had to do it within a certain amount of time as well, and I was like, I don't see how it's possible at all. But then I saw he took pictures of basically his stomach expanding like crazy while he was doing it, and I was like, oh shit! I didn't actually know that professional eaters, they basically have super stomachs that can stretch super far.
So that's something they have to train, or is it just harnessing natural talent?
I think it's
kind of
probably both.
Like a Michael Phelps, who's got obviously an insane amount of training, but he also has a body that lends itself well to that.
I assume it's they had a natural predilection, but then they also have to work really hard to train it up as well.
Probably.
Be competitive.
Thanks.
Movie Bob seems like he would have relished being having the role of hall monitor back when he was a wee lad in despot school. Yes, he would
absolutely
loved it.
He's one of those people who will latch on to any kind of authority he could possibly get, and he'll wield it like a tyrant.
Mario, obviously socialist. Luigi is a crypto-fascist. Well, I could see Movie Bob saying that.
Luigi he's a nice guy.
I'd hang out with Luigi.
Luigi he'd be about republics and democracies, because he wouldn't want to. He's not a vain or prideful person who thinks that he has the solutions to everything. He's like, hey, let the people decide. They're smart.
I just want to visit his mansion. Cool. Got a bunch now over the times of the games. And then we can go kart racing and run around the Mushroom Kingdom, go save someone from Bowser. Why not? It'd be fun. How would Sonic vote in the 2024 election?
I don't know what Sonic's political
opinions are.
I think he would maybe be a candidate. he wouldn't even be voting because, well, I guess he'd vote for himself.
That
But
fits his personality, right?
What's his
He's like really take charge kind of
platform?
guy.
Gotta go fast.
yeah, speed everything up. We're in a slow world. We've retarded too far, and we have to unretard. I think that's a good platform. Actually, I think we can all get behind it.
But if we unretard, then one day we might have to retard in order to get back to where we were.
I don't think we want to go back.
To tard again.
Unless there is a need to retard. Like, there's aliens that attack us that thrive on their opponent's intelligence, so we have to become stupid and we can defeat them. That sounds like a comedy movie of some kind.
Yeah. Like, the only thing the aliens or the AI can't understand is people who are, like, actually being stupid because that's so illogical they can't comprehend of it. Yeah.
Like, stupid people are invisible to them.
Ooh. Whenever they walk into a room, you just have to go, doot, 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 and you have to start doing stupid thing and hitting yourself with a hammer.
Isn't that Futurama? Fry is like immune. I think he just has a particular brainwave or whatever, but...
Yeah, Fry's immune to being made, like, stupid.
Yeah.
Something like it cancels it out. Like, something to do with him. I don't know if it was, like, because he was stupid enough that he could, like, counter it.
Yeah, I can't remember either. Every time Bob buys a new fur coat, a whole species goes extinct. Oh. When you gotta stop doing that?
Because he's so evil that he wants to be the only person who has that coat, which means that if he gets a coat of something, he has to kill anyone or anything that is also
Well, he has to have
covered
the
in
best version of it, so he gets as many made as possible and then picks the best one. Right. And then just gets rid of the rest. Very wasteful, you know. The characters are Robo-Thinker and Anti-Thinker. Ooh.
The Anti-Thinker, I remember.
Yeah.
Robo-Thinker.
You don't like
It's not a great
Pokemon
name.
Go to the polls? That was one of the cringiest things that's ever been said in relation to politics. What an enormous mistake.
Yeah.
God. Pokemon Go to the polls.
Hillary Clinton worked really hard on
Well,
lose.
it's like the South Park joke, you know, where Mr. Garris is like, "I am a sad, silly little man," and you know, she should vote for her. My opponent is a liar and cannot be trusted. It's like, oh my god, she's so fucking stupid. I am giving you this, lady. I am giving you this. What the fuck are you doing?
Good Hillary.
Oh fuck, why'd it have to be her? I'm so
Hillary
fucked.
should run with Jeb. That'll be a power couple. And
Hillary Jeb for 2028.
Hilla Jeb.
only thing
Jebelry.
Listen, losers might not be able to win, but two losers teaming up.
It's like they it's like two minuses getting multiplied. It makes a plus.
Yeah, but the thing is that I don't think he's going to be a good multiplier because you know she's still got like whatever percentage, like you know, of the vote.
It'll skyrocket. 100% approval for both of them.
So like it's, if anything, that's just, you know what I mean? Is that like an anchor that's gonna, or I guess it's not gonna drag you down because there's not, he can't make enough of an impact, positive or negative, on a campaign.
Somehow it'll make complete sense.
He's like multiplying by 0.
Dude, that'd be funny.
He's just around.
Yeah, not by 0, but just
by 1, multiplying by 1.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, something like that.
This is cringe, but completely correct. Some of Bob's views, like no bad tactics, only bad targets, have become more popular, although he fell off. He's not like the first person to say it, and plenty of other people say it.
That's an age-old, yeah. That's just human nature.
That's a pretty old one. Yeah.
It's a classically you fucked up statement, but everyone who gets there is like, no, I'm right, though. Like, other people have been wrong, I'm right about this. Like,
well, it goes to show that this is an element of human, just like social interaction and psychology, and it's a very negative thing, but Bob has become the personification and the representative of that idea, which is just a tragic misstep that he was the one who said it at the right time and it blew up in the right way, that now people attribute that to Movie Bob.
Well, yeah, because I'd say it's basically a variation of the ends justify the means.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
It feels either a variation or adjacent to that, and that's not new. There are a lot of people who are There are a lot of people who would say that they're very consequentialist and think that it's like rock solid without giving it any thought. Like, oh well, you can do whatever it takes. It's like, yeah, but you don't know what the future actually holds, so it could be that you just do a whole bunch of bad shit and nothing comes of it. So like, where's the moral security in that? Like, oh well, yeah, but everything I'm doing is going to make the world a better place. It's like, you don't fucking know that. You don't know that it's going to do anything positive. It's one of the
It's
problems
just
with
so
the
funny how the
idea.
rabbit holes develop. Because we'd be like, yeah, but who better than me? You're like,
Well,
oh.
it's like, I don't know, man. Like, like it really is like. So I find, because I mean everybody is to some degree a deontologist and a consequentialist to varying degrees. Like basically everybody is. There's going to be varying degrees to which your decisions are going to be rooted in principle and a sufficient amount of impact that could influence that, like depending on the impact of a choice. But like hyper consequentialism with the idea of like, oh well, yeah, but I mean anything I do is fine because it's going to work towards a better world. It's like you don't know that it will. So what are you even talking about? You don't know what's going to happen in the future.
Well, as long as they believe with a good reason would be, I suppose, why. Yeah,
Um, well, yeah, but it's more so the idea of like justifying all of the decisions in the present based on this like elusive future that may or may not arise.
yeah, it's
Like
probably on a big spectrum of how the connections are drawn. Like we should all not steal because down the road that will lead to da da da. Like that's a pretty intuitive and reasonable
yeah,
kind of thing to
of course.
say.
But the idea
But
that
there are some that are just
this action,
crazy.
this action, this action, this action will achieve my political ends. I feel like that's way harder to justify compared to like, oh, if I speed, that's going to be dangerous because if something happens I'm not prepared for,
Yeah,
I
and if
won't be able
everyone
to stop in
speeds,
time. And if
yeah, it's
everybody
dangerous for
speeds, everything
everyone.
becomes more
More people
dangerous. That's
die.
all. There's more of a direct chain of causality there compared to like, oh, well, this action, this action, this action equals political accomplishment. It's like, well, not necessarily at all. So I don't know where the confidence is coming from. Or rather that it's like it's just if your things are rooted in principle, then the outcome becomes less relevant, right? You're just trying to do the right thing as you understand it at the time. But whatever, you know.
Where
I
would
guess
all
this movie
these?
Bob proud of like that being a thing that's attributed to him. The no
Oh,
bad
sure.
tactics, only bad targets.
He's movie Bob.
Yeah.
He would tweet it out right now if someone said like, bet you won't.
Yeah, it's like if you became the personification of greed, or whenever you ask anyone, "Hey, what is greed?" and they say, "Oh, this person," it's like, man, that person must really like, oof, boy, you're the face of an entire moral failing, a terrible vice, a deadly sin.
The N jacket is Captain N, the cartoon character. I see. Where would all these LolCow be if Twitter never existed?
They'd be out there in the streets. Well, not on the streets. That means they would go out,
Well,
but
a lot of the
they'd be
people
in the
we're talking
world.
about, their format is YouTube primarily. A lot of LolCows are born on YouTube. Express yourself,
It's kind of
Fortunately.
like Flat Earth, where the LolCow thing. The internet has just given us a much easier way for us to access these people that have been out there, and in a way, it can sort of hyper. Um, they could sort of what's the word I'm thinking of? It's like a catalyst where it provides fuel for something. Hyper. I don't know. It fuels their rise to prominence, whereas they would only be known before by a select few people in their small little town or just some neighbors or whatever. The internet makes it so that they can be known by a wide amount of people, and it can shine a big spotlight on them. They've always been around, but the movie bobs, they were always out there.
Bob has a video loving Family Guy. Good for him.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think it can be neat.
Gamergate never needed to be about anything but journalistic integrity, but people like him made it into their own worst nightmare. It's weird how much like that's like a lore page if life were a video game. Gamergate thing everyone keeps talking about and referencing as the start of it all. You know, like when are we going to get the flashback for Gamergate? Like when are they going to show us the context, the prequel game?
Yeah, a lot of that stuff is kind of. I mean, it's out there. You can find the info.
Oh
It's just
yeah.
whether or not you actually want to.
Well, you say that there's enough
the Nathan
info
Grayson and the Game Jam and
that depending on who you choose, you can write your own fucking history with that one. You know.
yeah, you could make it up. But I mean, it's all out there. All of it's documented. The Zoe Quinn, Nathan Grayson Game Jam stuff. The Five Guys, Herbie and a fucking whore. Like it's all out there. They're the ones who started it. And it didn't need to be a big thing. It really didn't actually need to be that big of a thing, but they just insisted on defending everything and turning it into a woman thing. And unfortunately, at least in some circles, that narrative stuck. But that's also kind of become a sort of calling card for, oh, if you think Gamergate was actually just this big harassment campaign for women, it's like, oh, I know a lot about you just from that opinion alone.
Slowly but surely, I think bullies had a point and reason for what they've done, and maybe didn't go far enough. Bullies created Bob, okay? I'll be giving him all the credit. It didn't work, all right? The jacket, the Diabeto...
Bob just wished he could be a bully. That's just all it was. He was
he
jealous of bullies' ability
Yeah,
to do what they did. Yeah,
exactly.
He's a bully in the sort of the classic assessment of just you're a pathetic asshole who desperately requires any satisfaction in life by trying to find people who are weaker, you know, like physically, or just try and make yourself feel stronger, right? Like that's like that archetype. The only sort of source of meaning you can get. The jacket that Diabeto was wearing was from a late 80s animated series called Captain N the Game Master. Fair enough. Slowly but surely. Oh wait, I read that one. I'm glad you showed Nick Melvin, brother of the Joker. Oh, showed Nick Melvin. Yeah, well, everyone needs to know about Melvin.
Melvin, brother of the Joker.
I don't know why that's... Well, no, I do know why, but it's so funny.
Idea. And I'm very glad he went through with it. I stand by he realized it was a bad move, but he was like, I've put too much effort in, let's go. Hey, nothing ventured, you know?
I have written this check, we are taking it to the bank, and we are cashing it.
Here it goes. And he's popular enough that it's like, this'll work. This will become a huge good meme that everyone will love. Everyone will get it. Hey,
Listen,
crew.
we're talking about it. And how many years ago was that? No, we're talking about it now.
Kind of a genius, nostalgia critic, let's be honest. Just wanted to send some appreciation before I go into Coast Guard basic training. Been here since year 2, and like always, appreciate you massives. P.S. Hello, Raggles.
Oh, hello.
Oh,
Coast Guard, cool.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, man. Good luck. I'm sure you'll get up to some fun stuff.
And you know what? If you have some time that you end up needing to kill, you'll have plenty of episodes backlogged of us chatting about all kinds of things. But broadly speaking, have fun.
Yeah, have a good time. Learn some stuff. Save the world, you know?
Stuffing Movie Bob into a locker has to be like trying to shove a memory foam mattress back into the cardboard box it came out of. Also, high ranks.
Hello.
Yeah, that'll be tough. This has been a revelation. I'm a YouTube noob and have only come across Movie Bob watching old EFAP episodes reacting to his videos. Strange, strange man. Well, that video we covered was pretty good, but it didn't cover like anywhere near as much history as there is for Movie Bob. He's got way more highlights than that have been forgotten, remembered, and forgotten. You know, like it's a long history. He's been around for a long time. And as we've said, he's barely evolved. Like his video production format is almost identical. It's kind of sad.
Just fascinating.
Mm-hmm. It's hard for me to keep up with the live stream because I have to keep rewinding to process all the stupid crazy. I understand. EFAP got a mention on Gamer from Mars? Wow, how does it feel to be famous now? I always knew this show would amount to something. I know, right? We're part of the Movie Bob lore.
It feels alright. Feels alright.
As we should be a part of the Movie Bob lore. And the Tipples lore.
It is kind of neat to see EFAP just referenced as like part of internet history, and these are the goings on of these, you know, spheres of culture and influence on YouTube, and people bring up, oh, hey, it's such and such. Oh, I ran into a person randomly. I was playing a game of Deadlock, and someone on the other team was like, "Oh, Rags from EFAP," and I'm like, "Yeah," and they're in the Discord, the EFAP Discord. I just happened to run into him randomly in a game. And it's a 6v6. It's not like there's a huge lobby or anything, but that's kind of neat to see that, you know.
I'm currently writing a Boba Fett novel series with an ancillary villain named Ito from a race called the D-Yeb, and I'll be using this stream as character sheet resource. Cheers, man. Oh,
Ito
God.
of the D-Yeb.
Well, good
you are
luck.
the Eeb Dito?
Hope you... Wait, hello, you fleems of Massive, you Massives of Fleems. Good luck facing Diabeto. We survived. We have done a few times. So some people don't make it in the streams, and that's, understandable stuff. I watched your first Boogie EFAP 6 months ago, and it caused me to change my life. Went from 325, I assume pounds, to 264. Soda was my main problem. Well, excellent
yeah,
work.
I hear that a lot, is that soda, and I'm drinking one now, but I try and compensate with doing other things, but yeah, I hear that's a real villain.
Nearly 60
but
pounds from
congratulations.
coming out. A lot of people do talk about soda being the devil with weight gain and loss and stuff. But yeah. But yeah, excellent work, dude. Keep it up. Maybe we'll get another progress report, and you will be jacked. Who knows? Mates and I have done this challenge in our early 20s. The strat that tends to work is nuggets, then burgers, then fries, then sodas.
Nuggets, burgers, fries, and soda? Is that the order?
Yes.
Nuggets, burgers, fries, sodas for last. I think we had wondered about that, didn't I? Think I'd mentioned that, and I think Metal might have as well.
I would have thought
the sodas at the end sort of fill in the gap, so to speak, and can get soaked into the food that's in your stomach.
Do you want to do bread last? Or do you want to do bread before soda, but still kind of last?
I would do... I think that's the way to go. Bread sort of last, but before the soda. I think the food in your stomach, because this is an element of like getting intoxicated as well, is if you eat a bunch while you're drinking, the food can soak up a bit of the alcohol and it doesn't get into your bloodstream as quick.
Right.
So I would imagine that with soda, it's the same thing. Some of the food in your stomach can kind of soak it up a bit and maybe keep it out of you, which might have an effect in how full you feel or how full your body thinks that you are. And it can, I mean...
I'm not gonna lie. I enjoyed our discussion on strategies, and I'm partially interested in trying to see how far I could get, but only for science, not at all for, what it is. Because it seems like a miserable thing to do.
Oh, absolutely. I assume that the McDonald's there in your neck of the woods are also disgusting, like they are here.
I mean, I don't know if I'd use the word disgusting.
Yeah, maybe I'm being a little hyperbolic. Definitely low tier of fast food, very close to the bottom.
Oh, well, yeah. Maybe we could do that someday.
It's edible.
Tier of fast food. Well, then again, I don't know if I've eaten enough of them. And then America and Britain and Australia probably have completely different. Yeah, we share a couple, but
I think tier lists are a fun thing. I enjoy tier list videos. That should be something that we do a bit more. Oh, and by the way, for those who didn't see it, Random and I did a tier list of Arcane Season 1 and Arcane Season 2 characters. It's on his second channel. Y'all should check it out. We had a lot of fun discussing our tier list rankings.
Were there any crazy revelations?
Actually, I think so. If you give me just a second to pull it up so I can remember... I think there were actually some after discussion. Let's see. How do I get to a second channel? Random film talking. One more link. More. Oh yeah, that's right. You can't just put. It's another thing YouTube changed. You can't just have like direct links like built in to like other channels and stuff. Used to be a thing that was on YouTube pages, and now it's just not there anymore.
Yeah.
Random Film Talk 2. That should pop up. Yeah, Random FT2. We did that. Let me scroll to the end of season. In fact, let me just take screenshots of our tier list and you can take a look. Because there might be some room for disagreement, but I think we have a decently solid list here. So this is the season 1 tier list. That's what we sort of settled on. That's season 1. You'll notice it is very highly weighted towards the top.
I just like the gaps in bad, terrible, and breaks the show. It's like,
And these are left to right. So the further left you are in that tier, the higher you are.
Ah, Silco wins then.
Yeah.
We were very close. Silco and Jinx were a bit of a toss-up.
Yeah.
We sided with Silco. I think we had to go do a bit of subjectisms there because they're both so high. Because at this point, we're rating like the highest tiered characters, you know.
I like the Heimerdinger is imperfect. It's cool.
Yes. I don't think there's any here that should really surprise you. There might have been a couple we deliberated on between like non-character or inoffensive. Or
I could see people saying
non-character or mostly
Marcus shouldn't be
functional.
imperfect, but I can definitely see the argument for why he's perfect. The story works so well with everything you get from him.
Yeah, he's in the lowest. He's the lowest of the perfect characters because it's a fairly concise, not particularly complex story, but it's done excellently and executed wonderfully good. He's one of my favorite characters. Probably him and Silco are my favorites. Though there are many, many that I really, really like. But yeah, I think like instantly when he came up, I was like, "Yep, perfect."
Stand by the way, Silco is season 1 of Arcane is what they were trying to do in The Last of Us Part 2, but done correctly. It's really weird they came out so close to each other as well. Because Silco is often picked as everyone's favorite, despite the fact that in the first 3 episodes he's a horrifying monster that kills all your favorite characters.
Yeah, it's a bit of a subversion in a way, but they build him up really excellently and turn him into something magical. But yeah, that's our season 1 tier list. I don't think there's anything really contentious there. A few tiny surprises maybe, but a lot of this is built off of just writing quality, presence, the role that they fill.
Presumably, in your season 2 assessment, the highest they get is mostly functional.
Oh, that's season 2.
Oh, so you're included, like, because Marx is dead and he doesn't. But the thing is, not even dead characters can necessarily escape, so I get it.
Yeah, you will notice a few perfect characters who are dead are no longer perfect.
Silco is in bad now. Yeah, that's fair. In fact, that might be kind.
Isha became a really interesting subject of our discussion because she is such a, like, kind of so uniquely poised in terms of her function and execution and her characterization.
Right.
So we decided to give her her own tier because technically Isha as a character is very consistent. She's not like poorly characterized. In fact, she's a victim of the story. But we felt that what they were trying to do with the character, what they wanted us to believe based on the character, her role and function in the narrative was such that she should have been put in Isha tier, which we decided would be slotted between inoffensive and bad, because there is an argument to be made that she is a mostly functional or good character in certain ways of thinking, but because of the complexity of what they wanted her role to be, we decided on putting her in Isha tier. I fucking hate Isha so much.
Oh yeah,
as many people do.
Oof.
But yeah, it's wild the shift between the two. Marcus remains the only perfect character. Grayson remains the only excellent character. Grayson and Marcus are the two best written characters in Arcane, the series. And there are some like Jin, Milo and Clagger.
It's just majority of the best
Benzo.
ones are dead. That's so funny.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I like the Richter's got into good. That's cool.
He did, yes. He went from non-character because he has like the tiniest sliver of characterization in the first season. We basically just get a smirk from him, which is why he was a non-character. He goes up to good, one of the few upgrades. Obviously, Benzo stays the same because the alternate versions of them are not them. Hordle and a lot of the other people like that, little minor characters, stay where they are because they're not mentioned. But yeah, it is a stark contrast. It's actually kind of wild. Marcus and Grayson leading the pack.
How did Singed do? Where is he? Oh, there he is. In bad.
We lowered Singed, yeah, because of a lot of the ideas that he has and potential plans and stuff that he does with Ambessa and obviously Warwick. Singed was I think he was good he's good in season 1. We don't get that much of him, but what we do get is good and thematically relevant, particularly when it comes to his interactions with Victor. But yeah, in the second season, he walks away a winner, but his characterization is not good.
Shield bro in non-character despite all of his fucking scenes. Isn't that crazy?
We know they threatened a couple times to give him a character, but they never
did. And then they
Same
killed
thing
him.
with Fishman. Yeah, then they did. He got shot in the neck with an arrow, and that's the end of him.
Well, there you have it. And if you want to see the workings out and the back and forth, you can find these streams on Random Film Talk Live, is it? Or?
Yes, it is it is Random FT2. That is the channel. And it is a 7-hour live stream. We go for a lot longer than we both thought, but we gave it a lot of
I could see
we gave everyone their fair shot.
See how that would happen, honestly.
It took us a long time. It was very entertaining. We're glad it did. It just took us longer than we thought.
You gotta keep them separated. I think that's back to the McDonald's meal, as strategy. It's like, as in, I guess they mean take it section by section, instead of
like
altogether.
you don't want to mix, like have a nugget, have a bite of burger, have a fry. I don't know.
Like I said, we talked about it for a while. I don't actually know exactly what the best strategy is. I'd be curious to know what all the
I can only guess.
All the professional eaters, what all their strategies would be, and see if there's like a common theme.
That would be really interesting.
Because
if we could get a professional.
Even though the professional eaters are going to nail it easily, probably, I would like to see who does it the fastest and what their strategy was.
Yeah, they totally have a strategy. Well, normally in eating contests, it's just the most of a single thing, right? Like hot dogs or something.
Yes. Well,
so it's not.
A lot of the ones I've seen they've gone insane. Like, I'm used to like, oh, it's a really, really big pizza, but like the one I was telling you about was how do you explain it, Fringy? Like he had to eat like 17 meals or something. It was so absurd. I was just like, there's just no way you can do this. It's not possible. It feels like there's more mass here than his whole body. But yeah, they've evolved or something. Like they're they're crazy. The latest Soul Trap is doing the movie Bob McDonald's challenge. I mean, that would be interesting.
I'd rather do that than some of the other fucking
I was gonna say,
traps.
most of the Soul Traps are, like, a lot of them are shit. But to trap two fat guys or just two obese people and to be like,
make them eat each other.
You've spent your lives indulging in blah blah blah. And it's like, now you must eat your way to freedom. And you're just like, oh, and if you vomit, you lose. But whoever eats the most wins.
Yeah, that's part of the risk reward is, do I eat more and risk vomiting? Yeah.
Found that. Bob probably have averaged out Big Smoke's order with the others to figure out what the average person. Still, it's just such a fucking insane assessment from him. I'll have 2 number 9s, a number large, number 6 with extra dip, 1 number 7, 2 number 45s with cheese, and a large soda. Well, that's a fairly small meal for the average person. I don't know. Bob's so fat that the British tried to colonize him. Yeah,
oh my god.
Well, he went to the beach and they tried to roll him back into the water.
I feel like the first joke is already, because he's even bigger, right? Saying he's whale-sized is compared to a continent or an island. Gotta go bigger, Rags. Like he was mistaken for a planet or something.
Well, I mean, we don't want to get too big too quick, or else we're gonna lose the ability to make a lot of these funny jokes about how fat he is.
I've had Dorito breaded chicken. It's unfortunately tastes really good. Yeah, I suppose it's not impossible or anything.
Well, it's corn, right? A Dorito, at the heart of it, a lot of it will depend on the flavoring, but it is essentially just a corn chip. So I could believe that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would want a plain Dorito. I don't think I'd want a flavored Dorito. A plain Dorito, ground up, used as like a flour in batter to make the outside. Yeah, I could see that working. Because it's corn chip.
Yes, sir. Boil frozen chicken in beef stock, add salt and pepper.
Boil a frozen chicken in beef stock, add salt and pepper. I mean, I'd try it.
That sounds like much more normal.
That sounds fine.
Even if foundational way to just start your cook up for a thing. Certainly compared to Mountain Dew, get you. Imagine what movie
And I wonder
Bob's
if the
thanks.
Mountain Dew like caramelizes and stuff as you heat it up and it boils and everything.
That's
Because
the
that's how you
assumption,
make.
yeah.
That's part of the candy making process, isn't it? Where you can get like sugar goop and you boil it or you heat it up and it
Yeah.
caramelizes and that's the candy, that part that you eat.
And form it into whatever you want, but imagine what movie Bob's Thanksgiving looks like. I'd rather not. Mountain Dew, everything. My
What?
cans, my precious antique cans. A shilling for
It's
the...
just like it's loser bachelor behavior to just stack up cans after cans after cans. Like, come on, man. Have a little self-respect.
Get a better hobby. That's not the one you want. All right.
Yeah, I don't know if not being too lazy to throw your trash away is a hobby.
And well, I was about to say, like, if there's a context that's meaningful, then sure. But if it's literally just you're doing it because nothing else to do, like, oh jeez.
Yeah, you just ate any hobby would bump it down.
A shilling for the Bob misery meter. A bob for a bob. Thank you. When H Bomber Guy and your voice is your voice of reason, you messed up. Yeah, to be fair. Trump stole my only joy in life. Cinema Roberto. Wouldn't it be a combination of Tipples and Roberto? Stealing his Halloween. That stuff. Could this be a side effect of Mountain Dew poisoning? The science has not yet been done. Drunk from the same can as Movie Bob, so I can't drink soda again. Yeah, you could be drinking one of his at any moment, recycled. Be careful.
The odds are low, but never zero.
Exactly. I lost 220 pounds, mainly due to not drinking sodas and eating clean. Watching Boogie last year made me physically ill and drove me more. 220?
Wow, 220 pounds. You took like 2 people off of yourself. That's incredible, my dude.
Excellent work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great
man.
job.
And he said just eating cleaner and cutting out soda. Soda's a killer, man. Monster of the day, the bastard, the son of a gun, the boogie, the racist, the sexist, the graper, the annihilator, the conqueror, Jixon Khan of Australia, the predecessor of Emu the bird, the feral cat. What?
Huh?
Who?
I don't know. I don't know if this is just some crazy ramblings. But, fair enough. Alright. Also, about eating challenge, I doubt Bob can eat it because most super fat people have an acid problem that makes it hard to eat that much in one go. Well, yeah, no, I mean, that's
Most
the
fat
thing,
people
right?
have an
All the
acid?
competitive eaters, the vast majority are not fat.
They're little guys. Yeah, they're
They're
fairly
not even,
thin.
yeah, middle of the road. A lot of them are very thin. And as someone mentioned earlier, it's often because they're, this doesn't reflect their daily intake. This is just for special occasions, and they're normal. They're just, not doing that.
Yeah, it's not like baseball where you play 200 games or whatever a year.
You gotta have a Simpsons quiz show episode someday. So what I've tooled around with as an idea, and I've mentioned this to Fringy and on streams and stuff, is it would be Fringy versus everyone hosted by me. And,
Oh, that'd be fun.
yeah,
Like
so
Ryan in Star Wars or something.
well, so I'd want to find people who either saw Simpsons like one time or really haven't seen it. And the questions, I'd have to figure out how to scale the difficulty. But I could do multiple choice on the hardest ones so that you guys have a chance to sort of try and figure out what it might have been versus Fringy, who's going to have to really stress his memory. Which could be funny, and I'm pretty convinced even if we had a full roster being Fringy versus 8 people, that he'd probably win. But like it would be fun to do it just to see how it would go. And we could do like seasons 1 and 2 as a start, and maybe the way we would do it is you're allowed to watch seasons 1 and 2, but only once, and in prep before we do this, because even for Fringy, I think that would be useful, to get the refresh. And then I would obviously watch them and pick out which you've then got to account for what questions do you think I would pick out, knowing this format ahead of time. But that would be amusing for me, and I imagine for Fringy. So if we had plenty of people who were interested in doing it, I imagine Rags would find some fun in trying to logic through some of those questions.
Absolutely. It's a well-written show from what I hear. So there's some level of logic and reason that might come into what the characters would say or do.
She spends the whole video not calling it cancelling because that's not real, it's the beast. So this is referencing Lindsay Ellis, and is, like I was mentioning, that I think her assessment is actually on point in the video, but she's kind of an idiot and says it's only one wing that does it, and then she had it happen to him far more intensely by her own wing. So, I remember finding it annoying after she had sort of gone through the process of it, the way it works, why people do it. And I was like, yeah, this is all on point. And then she was like, and it's all weaponized by my enemies who aren't any of the people I like. And it's like, especially since, she would have participated in plenty of it as well. And it's still alive and well as a thing, unfortunately. But yeah, she refused to call it cancelling. She kept calling it the beast. That didn't catch on, as you can tell.
The beast.
Don't think that was a good decision.
The beast came for me. Who could have created this beast? Who could it have been? Whoever they are. Oh, damn you, whoever it is you were who made this beast.
Coach Red Pill became a pro-Russian propagandist and died in Ukraine. I don't know anything about Coach Red
That's what
Pill.
I hear, yeah. I think he got captured by the Ukrainians as like a traitor or spy or something like that.
Damn.
And I think he died in prison or something.
Where would you throw in one F-bomb in Lord of the Rings since it's PG-13?
Oh, we've gotten this question
we've
before.
answered this before, yeah.
Off the top of my head,
I said you shall not fucking pass.
That's a good one. Oh god, there's so many. Off the top of my head, you could pick off like at least 10 good ones right off the top of your head. Because you get one that's really good, that's got some bite to it.
I don't know if, the amount of times Theoden says death on the last one, like screaming fucking death, and they're all like, oh shit, like, he's really into this.
Oh,
Right before, in Helm's Deep, he's like, gambling, who the fuck am I? He's like, you're a king, sir!
Yeah, I mean, there's almost, you could probably use every sentence in all of Lord of the Rings, and there's space for it to be very funny.
Gollum's like, you fat, filthy, stupid fucking hobbits!
Sounds like, damn, dude.
Oh, Sauron, that could be a line when he's tumbling from Barad-dûr when the tower's coming down and he's still there on the top. And he's like, fuck!
Very funny, buddy.
I cannot jump the distance, you'll have to fucking toss me! So mad.
Oh, and another thing. Don't fucking tell the elf.
Wild to think 4-hour streams were considered long at the start of EFAP, and now people think they're short. I know! Relativity, what can you do?
People need to remember.
Video essays come and go, but Bob abides. Play Trails in the Sky. Perhaps one day. My favorite unsung Bob tweet will always be that in response to someone wanting to fight him, he says he's 6'2", only weighs 260 pounds, and can easily bench 310 every day, so you better run. That's a Bob
And then the
quote,
world said,
yeah.
we believe you.
Yes.
That's what we call an inaccurate extrapolation based off of no data.
Rags. Bible verse of the day in Movie Bob's voice?
Oh, I don't... Movie Bob's voice. I can do the cadence. I don't know if I can do the voice.
Yeah, it's... he's got that nasal... And then you're not going to be able to do the speed up. But,
Then the end will come when he hands over the kingdom of... oh, fuck, it's so fast. All right. Then the end will come when he hands over the kingdom of God... fuck. I keep seeing... I was raised Catholic, so when I see kingdom to God, my mind's just like kingdom of God, because that's such a popular phrase. Then the end will come when he hands over the kingdom to God the Father after he has destroyed all dominion, authority, and power. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 24.
Nailed it. And now, we have our extinct animal of the day.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, these are goobers sometimes.
Eriops, apparently the name. There he is.
Yeah, we like him.
First
First off, lovely watercolor image. Secondly, What we like him. We like him. Oh yeah.
He definitely looks
If you
like...
got caught by this guy, you must have been like sleeping. He catches you sleeping.
It's also just... This is one where I look at him and I'm like, yeah, it definitely existed. Like this sort of build, you know, it's not a surprising one at all. But, you know, neato. Like him. Glad. Okay, animal of the month. So this one's alive. Got the Ruspolis turraco. Turracos in general are very interesting looking birds.
That's an interesting looking bird.
Oh, that is neat. I have never seen these before.
Don't think I've seen that before.
It is nice though that you can be, you know, you could live for decades and decades and then still learn that there are entire new species of animal out there you've never heard of.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Where the back half is like a chill blue, like almost like a navy blue, and then it's green on the top half, but then you've got that bright red beak and the white plumage on top. Interesting.
All right. And finally, between the three Pokemon, Raikou, Entei, and Suicune.
Suicune.
Suicune, fair enough. How would each of you rank their designs? This person's favorite is Raikou. Is it Raikou or Raikou?
I think it's Raikou. I'm not exactly sure. That is a good question because I really like those are the three legendary dogs, and I have a lot of their cards. I have a 6x3 framed frame that's got 18, 6 of each. I really like the designs. There's a lot of variations of the three. And I also have the ancient versions, Gouging Fire, Walking Wake, and Raging Bolt. Let's see. What's my favorite? It's probably going to be Suicune, but I think they all look pretty good. I think I'm going to side with Suicune, though.
Between Entei and Suicune for me.
I think Suicune, I think, is one that I like the most.
So why none of us picking Raikou then?
Raiku's electric type. Yeah, I don't feel like all of the elements necessarily fit together. It's that front, like, kind of star on the face and the purple kind of plumage that comes off the back. It doesn't quite seem like it's a cohesive
I'm not
design.
sure purple was the way to go with that part. I'm not even sure if that part was the way to go in general.
I don't think so either, because one of the things that it does is it makes Entei stand out because he's the only one who doesn't have some purple stuff on his back. And that seems like too specific a design element to put on two of them, but not a third.
Yeah.
I will say, though, I don't think Raiku's bad. A lot of this is going to be how he's actually drawn.
Yeah.
Because he looks better in some than in others. There's a lot of different cards of them. Like, I have 7 of each. 6 or 7 of each. At least 6 of each. And I'm looking at them now on the wall. And based on the artist, it can make a big difference. I'm still gonna side with Suicune being the best. Suicune's water type. Entei's fire. Raikou is electric. So yeah, Suicune.
Well, all right. Thank you all so much for sending your messages. We appreciate it, and we shall see you on the next thing, whatever it is. But for now, bye bye.
Yeah, goodbye, everybody. We will see you later.